Welcome back, everyone, to this episode of the Agile Podcast. This is your host, Kunal Jethwani, bringing in a hot topic that is always up for discussion around the world, especially between groups of people looking to date or find a partner online. I will talk about dating apps and how their algorithms play around with the users. In this episode, we will look at the fundamentals and I will discuss things that you can do to make the algorithm work in your favor. This is going to be a long series, so I won't cover everything in this episode, but it's going to be a series of different episodes over a period of time, so stay tuned. And if you don't find what you're looking for today, I will surely cover it up in another episode another day. Alright, so let's get started with the darkest secrets of dating app algorithms, part 1. Okay, so I want to start by defining the problem. If you think this sounds like your problem on these apps, then listen on. Now, have you ever thought why you're not getting enough matches or any matches at all? Ever wondered why the kind of people who you match with don't really click and things don't work out? Or why you end up being ghosted? Have you given up on the idea of finding somebody through these apps? Finding someone to uninstall the app with? Well, a lot of people like to think that this is because that's how it's meant to be. It's their bad luck or their destiny. Or maybe they think it's something that's about them, like something is wrong with them or their approach. The way I like to think of it is that it is a business plan to keep their users engaged in a puzzle of high and low. To have the users keep returning to their apps for more business, for more profit. Yeah, that's right. They don't want you to leave, but only because you don't want to leave. It's true that they control what you see and to whom you are shown, but only because willingly, although unknowingly, you allow them to control your profile. The dating app algorithms are built to create a virtual world around you, like a black box. The only way out is to control your data, your actions, and your usage pattern. The algorithm creates a world of illusions to make you believe that something or someone good is always within your reach, like the stick and carrot approach, to keep you grinding at it, to make you believe that that person is always around the corner. But all of this is only because you allow it to happen to you. While the algorithm is designed to keep you within the app, full of optimism or desperation or even frustration, finding that someone better, but that usually doesn't happen for a lot of people. So how do you break the code? How do you change the pattern with your actions? Let's find out. There are many things you do on a dating app, either consciously or knowingly. And then there are things you do subconsciously or unknowingly. All of these are inputs to the algorithm, and the algorithm plays around like a god that determines your destiny in their world of dating by way of deciding whom to show your profile and whose profile is shown to you. So some of your actions that are inputs to the algorithm include setting up your profile, connecting your social handles like Instagram, Facebook, and even Spotify, analyzing the type of photos you upload, your profile preferences and filters, whom you swipe on and whom you don't swipe on, how much time you spend on a profile, whether you initiate a conversation or not, whether you reply back or not, how often do you reply, how much time does your first reply take, how often you unmatch and get unmatched, how frequently do you log in? Yeah, so there are a bunch of actions like I just called out, and the algorithm Big Brother is watching everything, analyzing every move and deciding your fate. The good thing is that almost all of these actions are user controlled, so they are in your hands and you just need to break your pattern if things aren't working out for you. To understand that, let's first understand what an algorithm is and how it works in simple terms, because not all of you may be technically inclined as such, so a short and simple explanation of the fundamentals is important. In simple terms, an algorithm is a series of logical instructions that are executed in a sequence. Apart from this, remember that everything in computers can be classified as three fundamental steps: input, process, output. So the algorithm, which is a series of instructions, also needs inputs so it can process those inputs as per the instructions given by the developers to give a certain output. In case of dating apps, like I mentioned, most of the inputs come from you, the user. You give inputs to the algorithm without realizing that the inputs you're giving and the importance of those, or the extent to which your own actions or data can impact you, mostly adversely. Yeah, your inputs for most part impact you negatively, and that is what you must change to change things in your favor and beat the algorithm. Now, which is the first input you give as an user? Setting up an account. When you create your profile, that is pretty much all the information you give about yourself, from who you think you are to what you think you're looking for. Now, remember, I said who you think you are and not who you actually are, and what you think you are looking for, not actually what you may be looking for. The think part is very important because the algorithm understands you and your expectations on the basis of what you have written there and not your perception of yourself. It won't fill those gaps for you. This is where the difference in what you expect and what you get begins, because remember, the algo will classify you in a group. The algorithm has predefined categories and it will put you in one of those categories. It will then see how people in those categories in the past have performed certain actions. Who did they like, and who did they not like? Likewise, the algo will decide the same for you. They'll show you the profiles that those people in this category have already liked, because it thinks you belong to that category, so you tend to think like those people who are already in that category. So you may follow the same pattern of actions. So there you go. You have set yourself on a path where you won't be shown a certain set of people at all, because the algorithm knows that people like you in this category won't like those people. It makes that choice for you based on what you share about yourself. And the first place for sharing is your profile. Here's a tip to crack the code. Don't leave that bio empty. It doesn't help you appear higher on the results, nor does it help you match with like-minded people. Sure, this isn't the only criteria, nor does it weigh very high, yet it has its own say. If nothing else, write what you're looking for or about your hobbies. This is better than writing what you're not looking for, like many people do. No wonder a lot of people are frustrated with the app trying to make it work. Remember, keywords matching is a thing. I'm not asking you to make a resume out of your dating profile, but there are certain principles when it comes to matching a profile to a certain objective, and keywords go a long way in that. Try it out. Remember that when you try this or any other code breaking tips that I'll give you, it will take anywhere between 3 to 6 months depending on how frequently and how much you use the app. This is important because the algorithm takes time to learn your new behavior and set a new pattern for you. The algorithm will need to relearn your patterns to work for you, and that is fair. So keep going at it and don't expect results overnight, because it took you a long way to set your current pattern and it will take you some time to break it. But it will work eventually. And remember, part of the code is to understand what happens when you swipe on these profiles, but that is covered under another section where I explain the results of swiping. Okay, the next one is fairly obvious. The profile attributes like location, height, sex, and so on. There are some people though who put in the wrong age, location, and other stuff. Now, if you're doing this intentionally to achieve whatever your ulterior motive be, then I have nothing to say except don't do it. For those who just leave it blank because they think it doesn't matter, or for those who put it wrong thinking it will help, well, it doesn't. I mean, apart from the fact that you're feeding the wrong data and setting the wrong pattern for yourself through the algorithm, even if you get a match, there's a high chance the other person will call it catfishing and then unmatch you. Most apps ask for feedback when your match cancels the connection. If they give this feedback, then that is another strike against you in the memory of the app and another input for the algorithm that you don't want. Almost all apps today have a penalty system which works on a user feedback, and also as the algorithm intelligently senses your actions and detects a certain pattern of behavior, which in this case gets evident with time. The penalty system can be a soft ban where your profile won't be displayed to most active users who have a higher chance of matching with you given their swiping track record, essentially punishing you and rewarding others as they get the spotlight instead of you. Here's how to break this code. This is simple. Try put in as much profile attributes as you can comfortably, but if you're not comfortable, the least you can do is not lie and communicate upfront rather than be a shock for the other person later. The same goes for preferences and filters. Be clear about what you want and then be honest about it to the algorithm. Don't confuse the algo, else it will set you off in a pattern that won't help you. This will directly impact who you see, as the algo will classify other profiles into a group and set according to your preferences. This will directly impact who you see, as the algo will classify other profiles into a group and see according to your preferences as to which group has a higher likelihood of being liked. If you're not clear here, then you won't get the right profiles, and the other way can be true as well, where if you have hard filters set in your profile, then your profile won't be shown to users that are getting filtered out by you, thereby reducing your chances of getting swiped on. Now you may think that you have it all set correctly, but remember I said earlier that there's a difference between what you think and the reality. Take your chance with who is shown to you irrespective of how it feels at that point. Talk and see where it goes. The algorithms sometimes know better, as long as you have the right inputs to it. So if it's showing you something with your inputs being right, then you should take a chance with that person. Okay, so next we're going to look at how the dating apps analyze your photos, and trust me when I say this, that they can get more data out of your photos than you can with your human vision. You may have come across this feature where the dating app can sense which of your photos are the best and make it the cover photo of your profile or the first photo on your profile. This is a very common feature these days, and almost all popular dating apps have it, where they are able to tell you which one of your photos is the best and deserves that prime spot on your profile because it has the highest chance of getting you a match. Yeah, that's a big part of people deciding whether they want to like you or not. So now you know that the algorithm can read your photos just as easily as they can read your profile, and that most people also put a lot of weightage on the photos. You would hear from your friends or from articles and forums online that you need to upload different types of photos. For example, one selfie, one full body shot, one in formals, another in casuals. Some even suggest to have one group photo there. My message is not what you must upload. I think that is fairly straightforward. Upload something that shows your personality and that makes you look good, but not have excessive filters, editing, or too many people around you. The point is that what you upload will be analyzed and put in a group of people again that will set your pattern of who you will be shown to or the people who will be shown to you. In fact, this is strongly connected to the next point about social handles. For the next action, This is about connecting your social accounts to your dating profile. Not everyone does this, so if you don't, then you don't need to know dark secrets to break the code here. But if you learn and decide to use it for yourself, then that will be another tool to make things work for you. Now here's a little secret. For those who connect their social profiles like Instagram to the dating app account, I know a lot of you may have overlooked the fine print where Instagram asks for permission about sharing your data with the app. What that means is the dating app can now see what kind of photos you like, what kind of photos you put up. The algo analyzes those photos and again puts you in a group where the likelihood or possibility of profiles with such photos shown to you are higher, and again, there you have narrowed down your potential dating pool. So if you are connecting your Instagram, then be cognizant of having a fairly decent number of photos on your profile, and also be cognizant of the photos you like, as these impact what the algorithm judges you to be and what the algorithm thinks you'll like. The same is true for Spotify, as you are matched on music and Facebook, where you can be possibly matched or not matched with profiles in your immediate or second or even third degree connections, depending on how the algorithm is programmed to do it. Having a premium account with incognito mode can help solve this problem, as your profile will only be shown to those you swipe on. Alright guys, that is it for today's episode, and we haven't even got into your other controllable actions like whom you swipe on and whom you don't, how much time you spend on a profile, whether you initiate a conversation or not, whether you reply back or not, how often do you reply, and how much time does your first reply take, how often you unmatch and get unmatched, how frequently do you log in. Yes, there are a bunch of actions like I just called out. Remember that dating apps are a business model, and for-profit companies run these apps as a business. If you drop off the platform, then it is one less user for them, which is not good for their business. All the more if you never bought premium from them before leaving, then that's really bad for their business. So the algorithm will hate you for that. So you better understand how to crack the code. I'll cover the other actions in the upcoming episodes. Until then, stay tuned. Thank you. Alright guys, thank you for being a lovely and patient audience. Stay tuned, and if you like my content or excited about the next episodes, then hit that subscribe, like, follow button, whatever that is on your screen. This is Kunal Jethwani from Agile signing off. Thank you.